Hello, friends. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. A little louder? Okay. Okay. There we go. Welcome, everyone. It's nice to be with you all today. I'm Kim. I'm Kim. Thank you. My Sangha name is Jyotikara, and I'll be facilitating today. We have a beautiful treat here yeah, that's really loud. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll get used to it. Yeah. Okay. So welcome, everyone, as you get settled in. Just a few moments for announcements. So if anyone has any announcements, just raise your hand. Yeah.
Chanting practice for the Today service will be today again as well. So at approximately 11:30, you'll hear somebody, perhaps myself, calling people to go to a back room to practice chanting.
Okay, 11:30 chanting practice for the Today service. Any other announcements?
Yeah, just one for me. St. Mark's graciously and kindly gives us this space. And if you would like to reciprocate that kindness, there is a black box for donations. So yeah.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Well, today we have Mechi Panyasiri visiting us. Some of you had the opportunity to practice with Mechi at the TWISP retreat that happened this last weekend, I believe. I have a little bio that Ajahn gave me for you, Mechi. Sister Mechi Panyasiri is a Chinese-born Thai forest nun in the tradition of Venerable Ajahn Chah. Born in 1967, she grew up in Shanghai, China. She worked for many years as a writer, creative director, a teacher of yoga, pranayama, and meditation, as well as traveling the world with a deep spiritual pursuit, which she was born with. Finally, this lifelong inner quest turned her toward the path of Dhamma. In 2018, she became a student of Venerable Ajahn Jayasaro and started training in various forest monasteries in Thailand as an 8-precept upasaka. In 2020, she became a Mechi with Venerable Ajahn Jayasaro as her preceptor and was instructed to go on alms round and not to receive or use money. Sister Mechi Panyasiri currently remains in the nuns' hermitage near the Khao Yai mountain in Thailand. And we visited Mechi when we went on pilgrimage many years ago. So we're really blessed to have Mechi visiting with us today. She doesn't teach publicly very much, so this is a really precious opportunity, and we really feel so much gratitude for you for coming to visit us and share your Dhamma with us. If anyone would like to offer support for Mechi, I'm not sure what we'll put back there, but we'll put something back there if you feel, if your heart wants to offer some dana for support. Yeah. Okay. I think you have a mic there as well.
I've been seeing this saying and the Saturday gathering many times on YouTube, and I never thought I'm gonna be here in person, so it's a bit of surreal for me to sitting here. And our attention is a bit different from watching from the YouTube than experiencing ourselves. This is also telling me that this is how Dhamma train us to see things in the way they are, rather than to think in the way they wish. So on the YouTube, and the group actually is much further than a speaker. But I never expect you are so very close to me. But I think also, but in our mind, and the Dhamma connects people so easily. Since I arrived in Seattle, and it's very difficult for me to think that or believe that I'm in another country, because I feel so familiar. Everything that since the time that I landed on this land, I was welcomed like, just like coming home. And this is irrelevant to what we travel to, but how we relate to each other. I've been received with great, I think, care and also mutual appreciation from everybody. And then when I meet in the retreat, and then people like offering their precious time and to take care of us, and then we share Dhamma together. So I don't think I have that much to offer, but I feel so much that to receive. And then this is what brought me here eventually, is the sincerity that people presented, and their sincerity in practicing Dhamma, and their sincerity in helping each other, and this great interest and then enthusiasm, practice and learning, study the Dhamma, which is, I think, that brought me here. Sorry for my voice, and it's true, I'm not used to speak into the big group, so I would ask you to be a bit patient if my voice is drop on or off, and then if anyone have any problem to hear my voice, and please raise your hand anytime. We're gonna, I think, start the Saturday session, I think as usual. Gonna start with a chant. And today we probably would try, let me see. I would like to give it a challenge. I think we would like to chant in Pali English today, and we'll choose a comparatively easy, short verse for us to try, because Pali is the language that Lord Buddha used to teach in his time. And then this verse is have a lot of repetition, so it's not that difficult to follow. But it's also telling us something that we may not see in our life, with the way that we see things. So let's turn to page 66. The reflection on impermanence. So we usually, this is a verse that we usually sometimes chant in a comparatively slower pace. So we contemplating while we're chanting, and we can do as slow as we can. Handmaya nicca nusati patang banamase sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Sabbe sankhara dukkha. All conditioned things are dukkha. Sabbe Dhamma anatta. Everything is void of self. Hatuvang jivitang. Life is not for sure. Tuvang maranang. Death is for sure. Avasamaya maritabang. It is inevitable that I will die. Maranang pariyo sanang me jivitang. This is the culmination of my life. Jivitang me aniyatang. My life is uncertain. Maranam me niyatang. My death is certain. Vata indi ayam kayo. This body achirang will soon apeta vinyano, be void of consciousness, chuto, and cast away. Ati se sati, it will lie. Bata wing, underground, kalingaram ewa, just like a rotten log, near a tongue, completely void of use. Anicca vata sankhara, truly conditioned things cannot last. Upadavaya dhamino, their nature is to rise and fall. Upajitava nirochanti, having arisen things must cease. Tesam upasamo sukho, their stealing is true happiness. Just reflecting upon that last line we just chanted. Their stealing is true happiness. Their stealing is true happiness. And their stealing is true happiness. Finding a place, and then gently imagine your body is like a precious vessel. Firmly but gently place it. If you sit on the chair, and maybe I would invite you to take this opportunity to slightly move your back away from the rest. So feeling that the body actually suspending. Whatever you touch, the sitting bones, that will become, at this time being, a sacred place for you to be, but not to rest. Just learn to be here. There's a bit of boundary, and you remain within the boundary. What does that really mean when we said their stealing is true happiness? Why are we here? Why we have so many other choices to spend our Saturday morning? Why we're here sitting quiet? Why we're here to listen to other people, to talk to us? Why we're here doing something that we usually don't do in our life? Maybe there's part in us that we never understand, we never get to see. But we'd like to give it a try. To discover some possibilities. To understand what we don't understand. And to be able to understand, we may start with learn to look at it, study it. The stillness is peace. Peace is the ultimate happiness. It's not from what we're gaining. It's from what we're letting go of. And to be able to do that, we need to learn what we've been grasping of. We're taking things for granted and thinking breath is so natural. My breath, our breath. We're so used to it. We're thinking we own the breath. Is that so? The breath just happens voluntarily. How much we know it. We're born with the first breath, and we're going to die with our last breath. How much we know this lifetime friend. It's been through with us, through thick and thin. Here we are sitting together. Observe it. So always start with a gentle, thorough exhalation as a reset button. And you can do that anytime in the day, anytime during meditation. Always start with a long, thorough exhalation to prepare yourself. And then just observe quietly how the breath actually happens by itself. The air flow in, and then pause. And the air flow out, also followed by the pause. Can we really see that pause? Or we just take it for granted, thinking the breath is just in and out. The breath has 4 parts. You start with inhalation, followed by a pause. Then start the exhalation, followed by a pause. How does your breath feel like? Is it smooth? Is it uneven? Just allow the breath to present to you like you are sitting in front of just watching the slides. One breath at a time. One slide at a time. Nothing else is more important than this. No answer to seek. No more experience to chase. As if in this present moment, there's only the breath happening, and there's only you as an observer. still our mind is the most difficult task for human being, because the untrained mind of its nature try to grasp on anything that is moving, changing. When we choose an object to train the mind to focus on, be aware that this is not a spot for us to force the mind and to lock it on that spot, but rather than treating it as a reference point. When the mind is slip away, get distracted away from that point, we know it's sliding away. Just gently bring it back. Have a smile and say, okay, I missed that. I know it. Let's get back. Start with the exhalation and start over again with the inhalation. 4 paths of the breath. Just repeating this process, developing patience, give it time, know how to wait and watch. Just repeat these 2 actions. Wait and watch. Wait and watch. Be aware of the mind, how it is easily distracted and be taken away from the primary object that we wish it to stay. Only that awareness is very important. There's no other thoughts than that involved in that action. Just simple awareness, merely aware that the mind is drifting away. The mind is being distracted by some other background sound, movement, whatsoever. Patiently, firmly bring it back to the breath. How much can I follow it? One breath at a time. One breath is one meditation. Once we complete, follow one breath, or ideally, the 4 parts of the breath, we complete one session of the meditation practice. We start another one. Meditation is not to practice to gain peace, but rather for us to learn what's breaking, damaging the peace. And you can also watch the breath by feeling which part of the body is moving along with the breath, either in the chest, in the abdominals, the nostrils, whichever part of the body that is actively move along with the breath, that can also be your focal point. Imagine that the breath's just been placed against any background, and be the body sensation, any part of it. If those who are very skillful with anapanasati, the breath exercise, mindfulness practice, I will encourage you to pay special attention towards the end of the exhalation. And if your observation is very sharp and consistent, try to train mind, the observation, to follow the gap towards the end of the exhalation. If you be aware of that, it's easy for us to establish mindfulness constantly. Usually this is the spot where our focus or concentration drop. And those who experience some agitation in this moment, or some strong feelings, sensations, mental sensations, I will encourage you to pay special attention towards the beginning of your breath. Is this just rushing, or just gently flowing? So there's a lot to play in the breath. Create curiosity in that. It's repetition, but there's a lot to explore.
if you like to request a Dhamma talk with me, please open the page 124. And before we do that, if you like to bow to which, let's bow together 3 times. Majjhima Tipati Sahampati Kat Anjalianan Tiwarang Ayajatha Santi Tasatta Varaja Kachatika Tese Tu Dhammang Anukam Pimang Pashang.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Gurutana Upajjaya Namasami. As you can clearly see, I'm wearing white robes. When we were offered the robe, and together we also given a brown robe, the lower robe. And I was told that we can use that while we're doing heavy duties in the ground. Because as a forest nun, we're trying to take care of self and the surroundings, so there's a lot of work to do every day. And this, in the countryside, it can get dirty easily. So I usually change to the brown robe, a deeper color than this. So it's almost like earthy color. And usually I wash every week, it depends on the scale of the work. And I was told, oh, the white will get dirty easily. And then brown, the dark color, won't get dirty easily. Just like when we're child, we believe there's the existence of Santa Claus. I truly believe that. And also, in the beginning of my years of training, I spent most of my energy and watching my mind. This swap of defilements arises all the time, and I never ever believe that there's so many defilements in his mind. Actually, before I was ordained, I didn't know the word defilement. So what is defilement? I'm not that dirty. Just like how I believe that the brown robe is not that dirty. Till after a while, once that was not planned to work in the garden, No, it was not really a garden. It's just a piece of land. It's very wild, just like forest. So we get dirty very easily. So spontaneously, I decided to trim the tree and then to work without plan beforehand. So I would wear the white robe, get into the dirt. End of the day, I discovered I almost destroyed this robe. It was so dirty. And then a reflection just thumped upon me. And I said, it's the same thing to the brown robe. It gets dirty too, just like the white robe. How can I believe it's not dirty, it's clean? How come I've been using it, living with it, without seeing the stain in the deep color? And this is the moment I said to myself, this is what Lord Buddha's teaching. The wisdom is about seeing the things in the way they are. And we've been obscured from seeing it. Sometimes we think, at least I think, I am smart most of the time. But that moment is teaching me I'm not smart. I'm just smartly deluded. I'm how smartly deluded and seamlessly deluded. I don't even see the delusion. I was standing in my sink and tried to use any kinds of ways to clean my white robe, but I'm just standing there. I don't know for how long. That was a deep learning, I think much deeper and much profound than any discovery that come to me during my meditation. That was an eye-opening moment. I still will change to the brown robe, but I clean it more often. I don't believe that it's clean. There's dirt there. And if our observation of our mindfulness is solid and constant, we will see it. We don't see it with the eyes. We see it with the awareness. And this willingness and this readiness to see, to accept things can probably sometimes blow our mind in the most sort of down-to-earth moment in our life. I was very intrigued by meditation practice. As a matter of fact, in the first few years, my only interest is all channeled to meditation. I will get very upset when I cannot spend enough time meditate because I have a lot of work to do. And there's a default mind always screaming and nagging and complaining. Usually they appear to my right side. And I said, what's the point? You're ordained to meditate. You're ordained to see your word. You're ordained to discover the truth. But why are you spending so much time in the kitchen? What's the point to be ordained to spend much more time in the kitchen than the laying woman? And when I see that stay in the white robe, everything starts to make sense. Everything occurs for us to see the mind, no matter in what circumstances. So from that moment, I started to see the silver lining in every event. When I have time to meditate, I cherish that opportunity. When I have work to do to support other people, and then sometimes just do it, I also observe that, and I just do it. It's not taking my time away from meditation, because the ultimate purpose of us practicing meditation is not to gain peace. That's only a side product. The meditation is all about purifying the mind, training the mind. And to be able to do that, we need to learn to see it. So seeing that stain on the white robe, for me, is the strongest to practice meditation with eye wide open. So when we started to, like, we all believe that there's every cloud, there's a silver lining. But when we started to see everything that happened occur in our life, it makes us to see the silver lining. So what is the silver lining in the Buddhist sense? Is whenever there's a rising of mental state, particularly the unwholesome mental state rises, and that's the silver lining for us to see is, oh, I see you, Mara. I see you, mental state. I see you, this particular unwholesome mental state. What's the cause of that? What's the cause of that? What's the cause of that? Well, I repeat 3 times. Because at that moment, when unwholesome mental state already arisen, and the mind is already jumped out, try to blame for something else, rather than seeking for the true cause of it, we miss the silver lining. We look somewhere else. We're seeking for another piece of gray cloud. No, in the same piece of gray cloud, we look for the silver lining. The real cause of that suffering is within us. And this willingness to see that is what I call the Buddhist sense of silver lining. And from that moment, we cherish every opportunity, every obstacles, every challenges that we encounter in our life. That is a training opportunity. Just like when we sit in meditation, while sometimes this practice is so difficult because we cut off all the stimulances. The mind, untrained mind, wants to be stimulated. It cannot get what it wants. And sitting for a few minutes seems very difficult. And the breath is tasteless, it's formless, there's nothing there. How can we grasp? It's like we're fighting in the air and we don't know where to hit. But be aware of that. Be aware of that it's within us that is taken away from the peaceful moment. Tesang Samupana Sukkhom is their stillness, is true happiness. And in the Buddhist sense, we see happiness, the ultimate happiness, as peace. That means we can just be happy without getting something. The worldly happiness is always upon there's something we get. Or, in another way, there's something that we don't like, we can push it away. There's always something there. But the unconditional happiness is from letting go of, embrace anything that comes to us. Discover this willingness to see the silver lining. Whenever there's a rising of defilements, this is an opportunity to liberate ourselves, to liberate the mind, to find the strength within every human being, to use it to protect ourselves, and to use it to create conditions to bring peace to the world. And nowadays I heard this word peace so often, and it's appeared in our conversation here and there. How can we possibly contribute to bring the peace to the world? We start from looking within ourselves. The silver lining moment. Whenever there's absence of peace, whenever there's peace being broken, that very moment, be willing to discover what's the cause of that. And this is why we're here together. We're here to hear someone talk so we can learn to our own conversation, this inner conversation, all this inner chatter in our mind, upon all this mental state, we act through our body and speech. What is the white piece of this fabric in the Buddhist sense? It's sila, precepts. By keeping the precepts, observing the precepts, we started to see whenever we transgress the precepts, whenever we have this tendency to hurt, harm, taking life from other beings, all kinds of beings, not only human beings. And then whenever we act or speak upon taking something that is not given to us, including we quote someone's words without bringing a name into the quotation, including we probably take some picture from the website or from someone we know without letting them know, asking for their permission. We vow to be faithful to our spouse. So we watch, we be aware that whenever the mind is jumping into the temptation of getting closer, getting involved with the other party, other than our spouse and partner, that we know, because the precepts showing us the stain against the white fabric, as simple, as easy as that. Without the sila, we are like in wear the dark robe. We don't see the stain. We don't see how it occurred. If we don't see that, how can we clean it? How can we have this willingness and the readiness to clean, to deal with it, and to be more cautious in the future? Again, that our speech, without these white cloths, without no right speech, how can we possibly know and be aware when we start to lose it, lose our mindfulness in our speech, things we speak? Is this truthful? Furthermore, is it right time? Is the right tone? And also this applies to while we're receiving other people's speech. We contemplate that. Whatever they said, whatever we receive, is this truthful or not? And then just patiently spend some time to study that. Maybe sometimes we get lost in interpretation. It occurs so often in a human life. Again, without awareness, if we only see the dark color, that we won't easily see the stain. Because about all this, the fifth is we be careful and we restrain from taking anything that is intoxicating. But today, intoxicating not only refer to what the Lord Buddha time. I think nowadays, this time we spend on the internet can be also very intoxicating. We can get lost in game, in surfing on the web, like for hours, when we watch the clock, said, is my clock broken? What's wrong with my clock? It's nothing wrong with me, it's the clock. I probably need to check the battery. So time just slips, but with the white robe, we sometimes know the process that things been contaminated, that in a way that if we are not open the eyes to see, and we will never ever, we've just been living with that, we've been living with these old habits, we've been living with the stain, we think absolutely fine with that. So this is the purpose for us to get together, and sometimes we act out of the compassion and loving kindness towards other human beings. Imagine that you have a veggie stuck between your teeth, and the sila is just like a mirror, and then you hold the mirror. Oops, I have veggie. It's fine to have veggie. And then you know how to deal with that. You pick it out of your teeth. And other people, Kalyanamitta, we can act as the mirror to other people. When they cannot see, we just say, oh, you have veggie. And you've been smiling for 2 hours. Just imagine how you wish it to be. You would like to wear it all the day and smiling to everybody, thinking you're looking gorgeous, proud of your teeth. Or you want someone just saying, I'm sorry, but yeah, you have something. What? Yeah, you have something. Oh, still laughing. I'm sorry, Julia. I mean, you have VG in your teeth. Okay. No, it's oops. So we have many ways. This is, this is the value of all the people we get together. We help each other, and we use the right intention. Not like sometimes when people just make speech and they just shout, "You've got VG in your teeth." So this is not the right speech. The right speech is. But you're welcome to point to me if I have something in my hand, anything that, I'm very happy because I see the silver lining. So cherish that when people act out of loving kindness to point something we don't get to see. But it's most important that it's a reminder for us. Sometimes, every now and again, we should imagine, am I wearing the white robe? Am I living the way that I have all these different means to point out the blind spot we cannot get see? It's okay that it's a choice. In the Buddhism, it's all about choice. If you don't want to know, that's fine. But for those who wants to know, like this is the part for those only few who wants to be trained, who wish to be trained, and even fewer who will eventually reach the far shore. It's not an easy journey, but it's such an interesting journey that's just really worth us to give it a try at least. Ajahn Jayasaro used to say when he was in India, and then he's giving the Dhamma talk, and he said to people, please give Dhamma a chance. And when I was listening to that, I thought to myself, probably I would put it in this way, please give ourselves a chance. And Dhamma is the best gift that we can live on to give us not only one chance, endless chance in every single moment to see how we carried away by our habits, how we get used to the routine of life. We can still live in the same routine, but with different perspective. How much we know about the breath, if we don't know our own mind, how it functions. How can we understand other people? Sometimes we're thinking, oh, I don't understand him, I don't understand her. I usually always ask, do I understand myself? Probably we think we do, just like what I believe that my brown robe stays always very clean. Yeah. That doesn't mean that I'm not wearing the brown robe to work. I still wear them. But I know that I need to keep it clean, and that also brings more cautious. When I step into the dirt, I move slow. I be aware of the danger, the risk of getting, dirty. So it looks like I'm sitting here, but really, truly, I don't think I have that much to offer, because there's wisdom in all of us sitting here. Yeah. We just chose not to see it. We like to see, we're sitting on the treasure, and we choose to look around everywhere. We're digging all around except, perfectly, smartly avoid that treasure that we are sitting right on top. Every moment, if we keep the precepts, it's like a mirror to reflect how easily we sometimes act upon our habits. And it's okay that if we get anger, disappointment, or this negative, or we call it unwholesome mental states arising in the mind, They are not the problem. But the dangers, the problem, the biggest problem is not to see it. So be aware of the rising of the mental state. That will give us a chance to eventually manage and to put a tweak on that. And so we will like have chance to see it, and eventually it's the stealing of all these mental states. And then the mind will just rest in its ultimate happiness. It's just happy. It stays at ease. No matter what happens, this is it. The trained mind returns its real home. Whenever it's brought to, either to Africa, to America, to China, to Japan, to other planet, whenever things occurred, where the world is peaceful or unpeaceful, whatever how people treat us, receive us, the mind stays in its real home, in stillness, in silence, in its unconditional happiness. We all have these moments, but they slip. They slip so fast, and our mindfulness is not quick enough to catch it. But this moment in our meditation, the moment in our life when we just being there, it's just a pure being. Listen to that, it's human being. It's not human doing. It's not human running, human going, human fighting. It's human being, just being here. Learn to be a human being. Learn to be a human being by studying this mind. And to study this mind, we see from the way that how it relates to everything. And this is such an interesting lifetime project, that every project is the separate project to this one. So I would probably just end my talk here, and would like to open some time for people to ask questions. And then I want to apologize. I didn't greet the people online. That's so welcome for this project and for this Saturday gathering. And you can also spend millions different times to surf on the web, for different things. But you choose to stay open this channel and then to be with people and spend some time, in a more valuable way. So that's a big merit. It's a big, we call it born. This is a big meritorial action that we have. And then for us to get together, it's not something just happen regularly on every Saturday. It's a lot of cost condition to support that. And all of us here, we have so much merit to make this, for this to eventually happen. So it's not something that just happen, just occur. And it's just like really like a rare event, I think, in the human history, that for us get together here. And I wish such auspicious event will continue to occur in our life. And then we will be continuous encounter with people that's been helping us to see, and also verse-wise, we're helping other people to see. So next time when you see the Vijay in somebody's teeth, finding the right way, practice your right speech. And then, yes. And also welcome other people to point that out for us.
หันธรรมยังธรรมกถาสาธุภการังทดามาเสสาธุสาธุสาธุอนุโมทามิ
Thank you so much, Meiji. That was a beautiful talk. And we'll have just a few minutes for questions, either people in person here or people on Zoom. You can raise your electronic hand and ask questions.
Namaskaran ค่ะแม่ชี I'm so glad that you make it here, and I'm so happy. Oh, everyone can hear me. I'm so happy that you're present today and blessing all of us. My question is the beginning of the reflections of impermanent is one of my very almost everyday chanting. And I would like to hear your thought of the words of like, my life is uncertain, my life is, my death is certain, and how you wrap your kindness thought around those and around those reflections of impermanent chanting. Thank you.
Death actually is personally my favorite subject. I never started to contemplate that subject when I started the step on the Dhamma, the path of the practice. Yes, I had to say that before I became a nun, I enjoyed life. I feel life is very sweet. I had a little complaint about life, though that is a thickened thing, but overall it's a beautiful movie. I like to watch it over again, again. And sometimes also find myself some snack. And so I didn't see the drawback of, when people telling me, talking about something like death or death, I think I probably wouldn't be that interested. But when I practice, I see, yeah, everything is subject to arise, is subject to cease. How is it? Some of the Dhamma concepts seem so grand, so profound and big. We understand it's grand, it's profound, but how can we relate this to our daily life? And so observing the nature helped me to understand this profound concept. When you in the nature, in the wild, and you look at all the leaves fall, and then they turn into the soil, and how the root of the tree sometimes grow and then poke out the surface of the soil, the ground, and stretch, and how the tree, and if you've been observing the skin of the tree and the bark of the tree, and you see how it develop and change, again, this is a circle, and I'm just thinking, yeah, okay. This is how life, what we call the life is not certain. Life is not for sure, because every moment is changing. Our cells die, new cells generated. One breath is one death. One breath is one birth. It's just like that. What stops us understanding is our grasping on a certain way of seeing things. This is sometimes what we don't understand, or it's difficult for us to understand anicca, because we wish to be nitya. We think our life is, is something solid. It's like we see everything solid, like this is gone, is solid. No, it's not. It's changing. Our life is too, because it's happening within the body. That doesn't mean it's not happening. So we believe what we can see with the eyes, neglecting our sight even getting generated. So to live a good life, to live life in a good way, we have to understand that the time we're born, we're marching towards death. So I personally see life as a rehearsal of death. My contemplation of death is very simple. It's sometimes off the track, but I find it very useful. And every time that when I experience some obstacles, either in meditation or in life or in all circumstances, I just simply ask myself a question. If this is the last moment of your life, death comes right now, are you ready to receive it? You have 100% confidence that I can deal with that. Hey, death, I'm ready, come. Can everybody have this confidence to say that? If there's a little hiccup in your answer, That's really worth us to see how we live our life. And so when in meditation, that when you feel the physical pain, you feel this mental agitation, and you just want to really leave, you feel that even asana is biting your bum, you just want to get off and ask yourself, if this is the very moment in my life, I have to face it. There's no way I can hide anymore. There's no way I can escape. There's no way I can distract myself anymore. Harming it to face it. And another way of that is when we just the old habits and then the action upon unwholesome mental state and get so resistant. And I would just ask myself, when the mind is really keen to do something which is unwholesome, again, there's a useful mantra. I would say, are you going to die if you don't do it? So we can, if we have this curiosity of study the mind, there's so many creative ways for us to introduce into our practice, into the contemplation of our life, and every moment we just see, it's worth us to see what if it's the last moment. So when we really on the purge of say something which is harmful to other people, particularly to our dear loved one, and we will say, okay, what if this is my last moment? What if this is he or her last moment? Would I still say that words? Will I still say things in this way? Will things be different? Is this lack of, because things take time to appear, doesn't mean it's not happening, but the mind just grasps on it. This is the delusion. When things are not happening, we don't believe that it's going to happen. That is the big delusion in our mind. We think, yeah, it takes time. It happens every single moment in different form, if you really see what death is. Like Luang Por Chah said, if one lives a mind, spend this moment without mindfulness, and that moment, he or she is dead. When we see time pass away, time pass by, time flies, we just say it. It's kind of become like a very poetic expression. If we really see that time pass by, we know it. And then we will decide, we will have a better understanding about how we're going to live our life. Because, the time that we're born, every breath, and I also introduce this into our practice in Anapanasati. Then when we miss one breath, then okay, I live one less breath. Always treating this last breath as the present breath as our last breath. And this urgency will arise. And it will be like an alarm clock that next to us ticking every moment. But this is only in the contemplating, in the manifested level of consciousness to understand life and death. There's another more profound way to understand this, of course, is in meditation. Then you see that everything that we consider as a piece of solid, like a body, everything, all the form, like in the 5 aggregates, we have the form. First is the form, and we see that everything, there's no solid existence that is not changing. And once we see that, it's blowing our mind. And this is actually what the major feature of nibbida, disenchantment in meditation. When one experiences the nibbida, the disenchantment, with that direct experiencing, and there's no pulling back. This is the moment that you see the trick of the magician. And you will never be tricked, and you will see the delusion. You will never be deluded by, we believe, and also believe life and we're living is a delusion. When we live, we're dying too. These two actions happen at the same time. So we are marching to death, whether we believe it or not, every single moment. And this is something that requires to contemplate how we prioritize our time in every single moment.
Maybe one more quick question. Do we have anyone on Zoom? No? Okay. Anyone else here? Gary? We'll do two. We'll do two.
When you speak of, it really hits home when you speak of that in thinking I am living, at the same time I am dying. And I'm becoming comfortable with that now, I think. But I know that it can be devastating to some people to hear that. And I'd like to hear, particularly in your experience, how do you enjoy life, constantly aware of that sometimes devastating reality?
Awakening is devastating. Imagine that, imagine in the morning that we have like, I had, all of us here, we used to work, or we're still working, and we will work for a long time. I imagine in the morning, in the early Seattle morning, was very chill. We don't want to get up. We have to use the alarm clock. Anybody here that you feel wonderful, my alarm went. I have to get up. Wonderful, it's like, everybody's like, TikTok said, you would just sing a song. I said, well, wonderful. I woke up, I have to pull myself out of this really cozy blanket and go. No, you realize we live long enough to know that, there's work to do. We have to deal with the discomfort. There's some priority of life. I enjoy life in a way that I only started to really, I thought I was enjoying life big time when I was a lay woman. And that also, of course, this is the biggest delusion in my life. I'm very happy to discover that it's a delusion. I only started to live my life when I stepped on the path. And I feel that this freedom I've been living with for 50 years' time, they are just conditioned. They're all based on getting something and pushing away something I dislike. Or even freedom is identified, is defined as, yeah, we have the choice of not to deal with things we dislike. We have the choice to get more of what we like. It's so conditioned. It depends on health, depends on financial level, and depends on so many things. So when I started to practice, and when I see the stain on my white robe, I start to think, yeah, there's work to do. I'm dying. So this becomes that urgency, devastating about the death is approaching all the time. As a matter of fact, I realized I've never lived. I've been just finding a very comfy cocoon built by my delusion. I was made to believe I'm just like a beautiful slave to this mind. Everything I'm creating is creating an old habit, and layers after layers. In Buddhism, we call it samsara. It's drifting in the raging sea, but some of us, it happened that we're very skillful, built a very beautiful floating raft, and we just like circle around and drifting and have a little bit holiday, but without knowing, without seeing we're in the raging sea. We can get swallowed any time. It didn't happen because the cause and condition is not supporting that event to arise, that moment, but doesn't mean it won't happen. So seeing that death is every moment with us, it's so powerful for me. I didn't feel devastated at all. I feel this is a wonderful gift. I can choose how to live my life before this physical, how can I say, before this physical phenomena, before this physical thing, and then one day that the cause and condition, the four elements, is not supporting this result. And I want to, this is the way I decide, that while you will be able to put up with a lot of, hardships, and when you're kind of treated not that wisely by other people, instead of, fighting or responsible, I said, I have to be responsible for myself. I'm not going to act in that way. Instead, I will just be straight away looking for the silver lining. And I said, what can I learn? What can I learn from the arising of the mental state within this mind? You see, I'm not using the word my mind. There's no mind. This is wonderful about anicca, anatta. Nothing is ours, including kilesa. The Dhamma is not ours. And we're thinking, I'm an angry person. No, you're not angry. It's just according to the cause and condition. Anger arises in this moment. But the supporting cause for that is within ourselves. There's a seed of anger there. Look for that stain and clean it and prevent any further seed to be planted in the mind. That is to remind us how we can live our life in the most responsible way, in the most self-respected way. If any of these components, all of us can take of this mind, the world will have less conflicting. So it looks like, and we think, oh, you're selfish, you're living life like even like parasite, you depend on other people. No, we're using this mind as experiment to discover what Lord Buddha taught us. Our wonderful teacher. I was so happy when I bowed to the Buddha rule that I've been seeing on YouTube for so many times. I had so much joy bow. I wish that I just keep my head down to this greatest teacher ever allowed me. I can touch. I feel so wonderful that it gives us a path that reminds us every single moment we can choose to live our life differently. Even sometimes the form doesn't change, but within the mind, how we relate to the same life event, the way that we relate to it change completely. And that it's a possibility for us to discover. It's not a commander for us to follow. The precepts is our free choice to protect ourselves, to guard ourselves wisely when death comes to us, and we can receive it with a fully prepared mind. It's not devastating at all. Death is the most beautiful gift of reminders. It's an alarm clock. It will ring any time. So ask ourselves, are we ready for death? This doesn't only occur to senior people. This occurs to everybody, even the newborn child. What have we learned from this path before the last moment come to us? Embrace death. I won't say that in China because it's a taboo to talk about death. So I'm very grateful all of you allow me to be so blunt talking about death. And this is my favorite topic. So be careful every time I ask this question that we will have to maybe organize another 2 hours talking about life and death. And I really cherish that from somebody. We can talk about this so delightfully. It's nothing threatened. Death had the biggest silver lining, actually, if we see this with eyes open. And then it's not the death as a lump experience. There's so many things relate to death: sickness, aging, and then the unknown. What we feel fear about death, the biggest mindset behind that is a whole piece of unknown. So I will encourage, that's why I said, well, be aware of the end of the exhalation. That's where we are guided into the unknown. And then the practitioner of, this whole Dhamma practice is about being in the unknown, and the knowing is in the unknown. There's nothing to know, but to reach that state, we need to learn to know, to gain the knowing. Knowing just being. And then before we become a human being, we're all human doing, but do it the right way. Otherwise, we will be just human suffering. And it's inevitable, because if we don't see the nature in all existence, everything is impermanent, non-self, unsatisfactory. If we don't get to know this, we are inevitable, marching towards suffering. And may the whole world suffer too. Yeah.
Thank you. So So we'll have to wrap up the questions. Apologies if you didn't get to ask your question. Please ask Meiji after we wrap up. So thank you so much for spending this time with us, Meiji. So amazing to have you connected to the Sangha and offering the Dhamma today. We have a practice of giving 3 sparkly, clear mountain sadhus. So let's do that together. Extra sparkly, please, friends. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah.
Oh, I was wishing not doing the sparkling finger.
Yeah. We're a little kooky that way. And can somebody please read the blessing braid?
We have Clara Brown, surgery and healing for a serious medical condition. Millie, just passed, spread merit for a good rebirth and love. Delaney, Samantha Nisarka, in coma, perhaps entering end of life care, spread great love. Kathy Haverstock passed away in September, spread merit for a good rebirth and peace for those still here. Jerlene Gee, moving through dementia, spread love. Lung Tron Davies, passed away April 29th, celebration of life on May 30th. And that's it.
Are there any other names that you want to bring into the space? Yeah. Frank in Panama. Dilo. Emily and Kendra. Scott, Michelle, Ellen, and Sandra. Shala. Karen and Martha. Melinda. Yeah. Tracy and her mother who unexpectedly passed.
Well, who has been well, so yeah, wish her recover soon. She's been sick since she arrived Seattle, so.
Yeah. So maybe just take 30 seconds or so and just hold these people, these beings, these names in our hearts. And Meiji, whenever you would like, you could choose our final chant. So it can be any chant you want. We sometimes will do the Buddha's words on loving kindness or something after the the sort of blessing braid, but you can switch it up, anything that you would like to lead.
Let's turn to page 33. Verses on sharing and aspiration. Then we chant the English version to end our gathering today. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, and surpasses the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. Before we take a bow to the Buddha, I would like to say something shortly about the bowing. When I first met my teacher, Ajahn Jayasaro, I found so awkward and embarrassed to bow to him, particularly while there's other presence of people. I had a very flexible body, but when it comes to the moment I have to bow, I feel my knees are locked. They cannot even bend. Then I realize it's this self-pride, or this importance of the self-image. And when I realized, and later on when I read what Luang Por Chah taught us, if one understands the meaning of bowing, they will pour into tears when they bow. I realized we're not even bowing to the Lord Buddha, to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Anything, any object we bow to, we are putting this self-delusion down to the ground. What's important? To hold up on some self-identity. And this is what I see, liberation. It's not the worldly freedom, it's liberation. We are willing to let go of everything, even this something we call self, and all these values that attach to that image. So you're welcome to stay straight and just enjoy your sitting pose. But for those who would like to bow, and it just give an opportunity and to explore some possibility and see that I'm asking myself, am I going to die if I bow today? But nobody's going to expect you, so it's your free will to decide in how you want to live your life. But for those who want to join, I will invite you to enjoy that moment. It's not something you asked to do, but something you would like to try. Bow to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, but most important, we're bowing to ourselves. We're giving us an opportunity in this hectic world. We are here to help each other open our eyes to see something we never managed to see. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Just a few reminders. So everything at the gathering here is freely offered. There are books to support your practice at the back table. Feel free to take some. There's a potluck. People brought food. Feel free to partake and have beautiful conversation with one another. If anyone, this is your first time, if you, your first time, second time or third time, and you feel brave, please raise your hand and give us your name and maybe how you heard about Clear Mountain.
Yeah. My name is Natasha Shannon. I'm visiting my friend Mary.
Welcome. Welcome.
My name is Joshua, and it's my first time, and a colleague of mine told me about this
Welcome, Joshua.
Yeah, in Brooklyn, I went to the retreat last weekend also, but it's my first time here.
Welcome. Nice to meet you.
My name is Dave. Second time, and I come Clear Mountain in Seattle.
Welcome, Dave. Yeah.
This is my third time, but probably the first time I feel okay
Welcome, and congratulations on being brave. Anyone else? Okay, well, as we wrap up and you enjoy your time in community, Ajahn likes to encourage you to make the first person you speak to someone that you maybe haven't spoken to before. Yeah. Did you have an announcement? Yeah, and we'll bow together as a community to Meiji as we wrap up. Anyone who would like to, no pressure.
By the way, bowing is a very good exercise for your spine, so yeah, cherish that. If you want to practice that, welcome to Thailand. It's a country of bowing.
Hello, everyone.